Xbox head Phil Spencer wants Starfield to be the most played Todd Howard game ever. Going to read this article, then we'll talk about it. It says Xbox head Phil Spencer has said that he wants Starfield to be Bethesda's most played game after touching on some recent success of several other Xbox-owned studio launches. Speaking to Axios reporter Stephen Totillo, Spencer said, quote, "I love the Forza Horizon 5 and Halo stats. I love how many people have played Psychonauts 2 versus Psychonauts 1. For context, Forza Horizon 5 achieved the biggest launch in Xbox history when it released in November 2021, and by January 2022, there were over 15 million players." Now, I want you to remember the word players and not the word sold or sales. Following on, Spencer said, "When I look at the same teams, when Todd and I talk about Starfield, it's, quote, how do we make sure this is the most played Todd Howard game ever?" Todd Howard is an executive producer at Bethesda Game Studio, and as being the game director for Starfield, he also led development on games like Skyrim, Oblivion, and Fallout 4. Quality of the title is number one, no doubt about that. But that will be a success for the individual game. Now, I want to stop here. If they're noticing that an individual title can have success beyond the metric of number of players, for instance, he's saying quality is an indication of success for the individual game, then why wouldn't total number of sold copies be a metric of success as well? But let's move on. Outside of Starfield, Spencer said he wants more people to be playing World of Warcraft in 5 years than they are playing today, and added that he aims for similar improvements for franchises like Call of Duty and Candy Crush because we've made it more accessible to more players. Now, let's go back and talk about this idea of having a game be the most played. I played Grounded. I played it for about an hour and I realized this is not a game that I ever want to play again. Recently, they announced that Grounded had 10 million players and it was seen as this, amazing metric of success. And I'm not saying that it isn't, but I find it interesting that I could be used in that 10 million as a metric for success. And I've never gone back or touched the game again. This is not a franchise that I am dying to play in the future. These are not characters that I've been invested in because they've created them. I'm not going to move from one generation to the next for the sequel to Grounded. However, I am one of the 10 million people that turned it on for an hour, and that's a metric of success. I'm not sure I'm on board with this. Well, how many people played the game? That's a metric of success. Now, clearly, nobody should be worried about how much money Microsoft is making or how much money a developer's made if they sell 15 million copies, 20 million copies at $60 and adding up that and saying there's revenue. And clearly, I'm not a person who's seen as an industry insider that doesn't know the difference between players and sales. But I find it interesting that they want Starfield to be the most played Todd Howard game. There are other people working on this game at Bethesda, but the idea of total copies sold isn't important to them. But they also make a distinction that for individual success, quality is something that's first and foremost. So they know they've got to make a game competent in terms of the quality. They know that it has to have no bugs. It has to be completely polished. It has to have a high level of graphical fidelity. It has to have a high level of art, animation, motion capture. It has to stand next to their peers' best, like a Horizon Forbidden West, like whatever Sony's going to produce next that's exclusive for the PlayStation 5 from their teams. They understand the level of success can be judged based on quality, but they're shying away from success based on number of copies sold. And I'd be interested to know internally how many copies of these games like Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite actually are sold to consumers versus people just turning it on for a few hours and being counted in Microsoft's internal metric of success, number of players. Let me know what you think in the comments section below about this. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. Think about subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.